Hey guys, my name is Danish and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to talk about the snooze fest of a race that was the Monaco Grand Prix. So let's just get started and get over with this. So we started off the weekend on a Thursday with the two practice sessions, and we saw a lot of people spinning out, going off into the first corner and then rejoining and learning the track. There are a few newcomers here who haven't raced on the Monaco track, like Mazepin, Schumacher, and even Latifi as well. Also Tsunoda as well, who were learning the track and trying to understand how to race over here. But the interesting thing was, it wasn't a Mercedes or a Red Bull topping the times on all of the three practice sessions, which was surprising because it was a Ferrari on top, and this could have been the one special track that Ferrari really wanted to win and designed their car to be more suitable to this low to medium speed corners, and it worked right here quite nicely. So it was looking like a Ferrari led qualifying was going to happen, and that's what happened in Q1. Q1 ended and Leclerc was P2, with the losers of Q1 being Yuki Tsunoda P16, Fernando Alonso P17, Latifi P18, Mazepin P19, and Mick Schumacher, who has not participated because he crashed out in FP3 and had some chassis damage, so that would prepare him for the race. And this was one of the few times where, or the only time where, Nikita Mazepin out qualified his teammate. So again we got Mr. Saturday George Russell coming into Q2 at P14 at the end of Q1. So at the end of Q2 we got George Russell P15, Kimi Raikkonen P14, Lance Stroll P13, Daniel Ricciardo P12, nearly a second off the lead, and Esteban Ocon P11, and all of them were on the softs. And this was a full stop, single stop strategy race on Sunday, and nobody's going to divert from the Q2 runs which were done on the red marked soft tires. So in Q3 it was an interesting race with the first rounds going pretty nicely, with Leclerc leading, Verstappen P2, Bottas P3, and on the second runs was where the magic happened, where out of the swimming pool exit second, Leclerc clipped the wall, bounced off, hit the wall, and that ended the sessions with 18 seconds left, and that meant none of them could have their second run in. So the driver standings stayed the same, with Charles Leclerc P1, Verstappen P2, Bottas P3, Carlos Sainz P4, Lando Norris P5, Gasly P6, and Hamilton P7, way down below the order and on the fourth row of the grid, along with Sebastian Vettel, Sergio Perez P9, and Giovinazzi P10. And now there were some controversial thoughts that were thrown about, as such as similarity to the Michael Schumacher, which was parking the car in Raskas and not allowing Mika to finish his flying lap. It was said about this, but this was not an intentional accident because it was a lot of damage to his car, and it's a lot more riskier to have so much damage rather than just stopping the car or losing it on one corner. So this was not something intentional done by Leclerc to hold on to P1, even though Monaco is quite a bit cursed for him. From his Formula 2 career into Formula 1 career, he hasn't finished a Monaco Grand Prix, being his home Grand Prix. He hasn't finished one single one of those races, and also the double whammy being Netflix were shadowing Ferrari this weekend. So yeah, the omens were not really looking positive for Leclerc and Sainz. But yeah, it was gonna be left up to the Sunday morning checkup of the car to see if the car needed a different transmission or if it could run on the same thing. And at the night testing, they did not deem it necessary to change the transmission. Now coming on to the Sunday morning, it started out normally with everybody leaving the pits to go and stand at the grid, and disaster for Leclerc because he could not finish the installation lap to the grid because of a drive shaft issue too, which is going to one of the wheels. And yeah, a lot of speculation was thrown out because Ferrari could have changed stuff and taken the penalty instead of holding on to P1 and hoping for the best. It was a risky move and it did not pay out, which was a sad thing for Leclerc, and his curse of Monaco continues. So the first slot on the grid was empty, with Max Verstappen P2 standing clearly in the lead and Valtteri Bottas having a clear opening into the race. Now here's something that gets interesting, is not a lot happened in the first few laps. Everybody went off and it was in orderly fashion. No accidents in turn 1, no accidents on lap 1. Everybody gained a place on lap 1 because of Leclerc not being there, but Ricciardo lost 2 places to Stroll and Raikkonen in the beginning, and Tsunoda lost a place to Latifi in the beginning. And Mick Schumacher tried to take Mazepin at the hairpin chicane, which was the slowest chicane and really tough to overtake over there. But as it was the first lap with the mayhem, he tried to get it stuck. And after this, it was just smooth sailing for nearly everybody, because everybody maintaining their tires, because all of them were on the softs and they had to extend it to about 28-22 laps before they could make their first pit stop to guarantee a one-stop strategy. Now all the way up till lap 14, there was nothing happening, where Nikita Mazepin got black and white flagged for track limits. Then on lap 19, Lando Norris got black and white flag for on lap 19. Then Lewis pit for Hearts on lap 30, Bottas pit on lap 31, and I'll come to Bottas in a second, but Lewis pit on lap 30, Pierre Gasly pits right behind him, and Sebastian Vettel, who was behind both of them, pit a lap later and got the overcut done on both of them, so he jumped up 2 positions in the pits, and that is the only type of position taking going on in the whole race, because there were no overtakes on track, because there is no place to overtake on track, and the only place where you can overtake on track is the exit of the tunnel chicane, where you can't get really close enough because of the sectors behind it, or you could do it on the start finish straight with DRS, but the turn 1 is so shallow that you can't do too wide into it or muscle your way through it. So there was no overtake on track, there was no yellow flag on track, it was a snooze fest. Did I take a nap? Yes. So coming on to Bottas pit, which was on lap 31, he came into his pit box, it was all perfect. They pulled out 3 wheels, put on 3 wheels. The 4th wheel had no mood to come out, so the nut was, I think, cross-threaded and it would not come out, and with the torque the guns have nowadays for the F1 pit stop, it just smoothened it out and machined it. And if you have ever stripped a screw using your screwdriver and you have to wriggle it out with some other tools to remove it, you know the pain of stripping a screw or a screwdriver head. Same pain here, but losing out on a podium instead for Valtteri Bottas, and he was gutted, and he was the second one to be out of this race, with Charles Leclerc did not start and Valtteri Bottas did not finish. So no mechanical issues for anybody else in the race either. So 18 runners, 0 overtakes, no yellow flags, everybody playing strategy, everybody maintaining pace, nobody pushing 100%. That's it. That's the epitome of Monaco right now, without any serious changes. But it does work out for other categories that have raced over here, like Formula E. There were a lot of overtakes, like the Porsche stage or the F2 stages, and all of them have overtakes. It's just the Formula 1 that it's just too fast and can't follow close enough that there aren't any overtake opportunities over here without being overly fast compared to who you're chasing. Now Max pits on lap 34 because all of them behind him had already pit, so it was a safe pit stop for Max Verstappen. Perez pits on lap 36, overcuts Hamilton, Vettel and Gasly for P4, so he took 3 positions because of the overcut, and he just did 6 laps more than Hamilton on the soft tires. Mick Schumacher got black and white flag on lap 42, and the problem here with the black and white flag was it was mostly the back runners who had to get out of the way for the leaders to go through. Is the moments where they had to go out of the track, especially after the tunnel chicane exit, where you can go straight off, let the leaders go through the chicane and then join behind them. Nobody got a penalty, but that would have been a difficult question to answer when it would have come to a penalty, because they were making room for the leaders, and they don't make room for leaders after 3 blue flags, they get a penalty. If they do make room for the leaders and go out of bounds of the track, they get a black and white flag and then get a penalty. So luckily it didn't happen, so that would be something to be adjusted for the Monaco Grand Prix, with giving a bit more leeway and more scrutineering before giving out a blank penalty point over there. That was one tricky point that I wanted to bring out. Then Alonso pits on lap 47. He was really late. He was on the hard tires, I think. And Stroll also started out on the hard lap, pit on lap 59 and goes to the soft. And Tsunoda pits on lap 66 out of 78. So 12 laps in the end, he pits for softs from the hard. So 66 laps on a set of hard, that's a lot of amount of laps. And Hamilton also pits for softs and goes for the fastest lap in the last 10 races. And Yuki Tsunoda also got blue flagged on lap 77 for, he was I think 2 laps behind, and all the way up till P8 was lapped by the leader, because they get the prerogative of getting given blue flags and people have to move out of the way and not worry about overtaking. So it was a really topsy-turvy thing, and Hamilton was P7 was just a couple of laps behind, and if there were a few more laps in the end, like 3 or 4 more laps, Hamilton also would have been lapped as well. So that was the situation that went on over here. So our podium sitters were Max Verstappen P1, Carlos Sainz P2, and Lando Norris P3. So the McLaren brothers and the Toro Rosso teammates, and yeah, just a lot of camaraderie going on at the podium, and the second youngest podium I see. And that brings the end to the Monaco Grand Prix. It was a sedate type of event in the prize giving as well, and yeah, not an enjoyable race. It could be enjoyable next year with all the new regulations and all the new aero, but we have to wait and see for that. Now all we can expect is for the next street race, which is Baku, to be exciting, because it will be exciting because of the long start finish straight, which gives a lot of overtaking opportunities and really strong DRS as well. And we have seen incidents in Baku quite a lot, like Vettel crashing into Hamilton because he thinks he brake tested him, both the Red Bull guys hitting each other and going through, punctures on the last lap. It was a bit of a mayhem. Leclerc himself also going into the wall using the I am stupid, which is iconic now. And in the eternal words of Fernando Alonso, it's a yoke. It's a yoke, I tell you. It's a yoke. So yeah, that's the end of this Monaco Grand Prix. We'll go through the classifications, continuing with P4, which is Sergio Perez, which is a great running from him in terms of strategy to gain positions in the pit stop. Sebastian Vettel again gained 2 positions in the pit stop. Gasly P6 held off Hamilton. Lance Stroll again good point scoring, double team points for them this weekend, which is good. Esteban Ocon P9 and Antonio P10 getting points again. Kimi P11 right outside the points. Daniel Ricciardo was lapped by Lando Norris. That was something hard to watch. Fernando Alonso P13, George Russell P14, Nicholas Latifi P15, Yuki 16, Nikita Mazepin P17, and Mick Schumacher P18. Valtteri Bottas did not finish, and Charles Leclerc did not start. Now this created a certain mix-up in the championship, because now Max is leading the championship with a 4-point lead at 105, and Lewis Hamilton in P2 at 101. Lando is P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Woohoo! Valtteri Bottas is number 4, Perez P5, both Ferraris in 6 and 7, Ricciardo 8, Gasly 9, and Ocon 10 in the Drivers' Championship. Now coming on to Constructors' Championship, we have Red Bull again leading, because both of the Red Bull pair were P1 and P4, and Hamilton the lone Mercedes in P7. So they gained a lot of points this weekend at 149, and up 1 point lead in front of Mercedes, which is at 148. McLaren is P3, Ferrari P4, Aston P5, AlphaTauri P6, Alpine P7, Alfa Romeo racing with 1 point that Gio got this weekend, Williams at 0, and Haas at 0. Williams does have potential to gain a few points, at least 1 or 2 points, a few races here and there. Haas is gonna stay at 0 this year, no point about it. So yeah, that's been this weekend of F1 race recap. So if you like this video, give this video a like, get subscribed to my channel, and ring the bell icon for notifications of all of my future videos. Comment down below if I missed anything from this race weekend, and as always, stay home, stay safe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.